Greetings to every one of you. In this video, we are going to discuss another important concept from data structures and algorithm, that is Introduction to Graphs. Graph is a non-linear data structure consisting of V vertices and E edges. It can be denoted as G of V comma E. Vertices are also referred as nodes. The lines or arcs which are connecting the vertices are also referred as edges or links. Let us see different types of graphs. Number 1, null graph. A graph with no edges is called null graph. For example, you have vertices. This is a vertex, this is another vertex, this is another vertex, but there is no edges. You can say that it is a null graph. A trivial graph, a graph having only one vertex, that is single vertex. See, for example, this a single node, a single vertex is also referred as a graph, but it is a trivial graph. Number 3, undirected graph. A graph in which if the edges do not have any direction. See, this is one node, this is one vertex, this is another vertex. We are connecting all these vertices, but there is no direction. It may be that is from A to B, B to C, C to A, or from B to C or C to A, then A to B, or C to A to B and B to C, or in any direction, C to B, B to A and A to. So there is no direction of vertex. So in this case, it is the unordered pair of edges. We have this, the vertices are unordered pair. Next one is directed graph. So as far as directed graph is concerned, the edges have directions. See, for example, the same can be converted into directed graph. See, you can traverse from A to B only. You cannot come back from B to A. So this node is what is called a tail node, and this node is called a head node. So direction is specified. So the directed graphs, they are also called as digraph. The digraph is a short form of directed graphs. The next one is connected graph. So connected graph in which we are able to visit from one node to any other node in the graph, then we can say it is a connected graph. See, if you take this node, this is A, B, C, D. So from one node, if you are able to, that is, visit any other node, then we can call it as a connected graph. Disconnected graph. In case of a disconnected graph, let us consider if these two links are not there. At least one node is not reachable from a node, then it is what is called a disconnected graph. See, from this node you cannot reach this node. It is disconnected. So from this node you cannot reach this node. Disconnected. So at least minimum one node is not reachable from a node, then it is called a disconnected graph. The next one is a degree of a vertex. So number of edges incident on a vertex is called the degree of the vertex. So for example, consider this graph. So if you take this particular node, we have what is that, 2 edges. This is edge 1. Let's consider edge 2, edge 3 and this is edge 4. So 2 edges falls on this vertex. So the degree of this particular vertex is 2. So how many number of edges incident on one particular the vertex is what is called referred as degree of the vertex. The next one is regular graph. A graph in which the degree of every vertex is equal to k, then it is called k regular graph. So consider this particular one in which if you take the degree of this particular node, it is 2, and if you take the degree of this particular vertex, it is 2, because 2 edges incident on this one. Similarly, you take this one, here also 2 edges are get connected with C, so degree 2, and similarly here also we have what is that 2 edges connected with the vertex D. So we can call it as it is a 2 regular graph. So a graph in which the degree of every vertex is equal to k, that is the degree must be same, then it is called k regular graph. It is a 2 regular graph. Next one is a complete graph. So complete graph in which from each node there is an edge to each other node, then we can call it as a complete graph. Consider the 4 nodes. See, this is D, it is connected like this. Then if you have the connection like this, you take this particular node from A, you have edge to B, C as well as D. If you take from B, you have edges to A, D and C. Similarly from C to B, A, D. From D to A, B, C. This is what is called complete graph. Then cyclic graph. A graph at least containing one cycle is called cyclic graph. What do you mean by cycle? So cycle, say for example A connected to B and B connected to D and from D to A, so this is a cycle. A closed path exists in a graph, it's what is called a cycle. Okay, it is also referred as circuit. The next one is weighted graph. A graph in which the edges are already specified with some suitable values, they are called weights. It is known as weighted graphs. See, for example, let us consider from A to B, we have a value like this. So reaching from A to B, you need this distance you have to cross, or this amount of cost you have to spend. So that is what is called the weights. Okay, this is 10, 15, 20, this is 2, this is 6. It is a weighted graph. So we have 2 types of weighted graph. One is what is called a directed weighted graph and undirected weighted graph. So directed in the sense we have see, it is a directed graph. So let us consider we have the values like this, weights like this. So it is a directed weighted graph, and this is a undirected weighted graph. I hope you understood the concept. So in this video we have discussed what is graph and what are the different types of graphs, and also I gave example of different types of graphs. Keep watching. Thank you.